Hello everyone, Cori Westbrook here with Pat from Fit for an Autopsy. We have got a lot of cool ass shit to talk about today because you are on a cool ass tour right now, and I want to jump straight in with that. I was reading some of your past interviews. You said that Lamb of God was one of your big influences.
Yeah.
So how does this tour feel?
I mean, there's a lot of like points in your career where you look at them and it's almost like, okay, this doesn't seem real, doesn't seem possible. And that's for sure one of those right now because, like, you know, coming up in the Northeast, Lamb of God was a band that I had been watching for years and years and watched them go from small clubs to middle-sized clubs to Sound of the Underground and bigger festivals and then eventually become what they are now. And we talk about it a lot. I saw them in a 2-car garage in Delaware with Dillinger Escape Plan. And now last night we all played an arena together. So, like, to watch them grow and influence a whole scene and then be able to go out on tour with them is like a pretty crazy thing. And at my age, I feel pretty lucky to still be doing this and to have the ability to do it with my heroes. You know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is badass. And metal is one of the genres that I think, like, the older you get, the more people love you. So, like,
it's like they can't ignore you after a while. You know what I mean? Like, if you do it long enough, they just get it's like, okay, fine. Like, you can be a bigger band now. You know what I mean? But it's pretty good. You know, we're really happy, and it's good to see friends and do the thing. So it's amazing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be, and it's been fun. What has been your favorite? I know you're like, what, about halfway through right now? What has been your favorite moment so far from the tour, or the craziest
moment? We're not halfway through. We actually just picked up on this tour.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because we did 2 or 3 weeks with In Flames, which was also absolutely incredible because they're like legendary, you know, metalcore band from
I'm just combining the two
ago.
together.
Yeah, but we're like a few days in. We had one night where it got rained out and we didn't get to play. So it's like the second day of the tour. But I mean, all in all, it's been incredible. Lamb of God's team's amazing. Killswitch Engage is on the tour. They're incredible. Motionless in White was on for a few days, and now Spirit Box is jumping in a couple of days. So it's been great to be able to like tour with, you know, bands that are like really killing it. And to be included in that kind of a lineup is like pretty special for somebody like me and my band. You know, we're very honored to be there. You know, we come from like hardcore and punk rock roots, so to be able to go up and do something this different and big is like, it's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of the convergence of hardcore and metal, I feel like right now there is this unbelievable intersection where the two are becoming like one fan base, where everything, like, their crossover is insane. You're seeing death metal bands on hardcore bills, and everybody's just in it for the music, in it for the passion rather than the genre. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it all falls under extreme music. Like, when people talk about hardcore bands, like, I grew up, you know, playing in hardcore bands, seeing hardcore bands. We take hardcore bands on tour. Like, that's my roots. That's where I come from. So, like, when I see band like Lamb of God, like, you can hear the hardcore influence in some of their stuff, but then you can hear now bands being influenced by the more metal side of what they do. Slayer has always been a huge influence on hardcore bands because they're just a thrash metal band that's got a lot of punk influence. You listen to the early stuff, it's just, you know, busier punk rock. So it's always happened, but I think now people are giving up on it's not cool to be this, it's not cool to be that, and they're just attaching to extreme music. So you can sound like Madball, you could sound like Slipknot, you could sound like Lamb of God, you can sound like Killswitch, and all those bands can tour together because they're all influenced by the same stuff. And then, you know, people are just coming to terms with the idea of it's not about being cool, it's just about continuing the extreme music thing, and I think that's important.
Yeah, for sure. And on that same, like, this is all leading great into all of my questions that I had. This is excellent. Thank you.
Sure.
On that same note, though, with you guys get stamped with the deathcore genre a lot.
Sure.
And it's seeing, like, this new second wave of deathcore is seeing such a surge in popularity. Do you think that is going to finally, like, make the heavy extreme music permeate more into the mainstream? Because it seems like those genre barriers are being broken.
Yeah.
That coolness, gatekeepy kind of thing is being broken. Do you think it's finally time for us to permeate out of our little world?
Let's be real clear. Everybody's calling this the second wave, but I don't think it's a second wave. I think we're on the third wave. Because you got the early Job for Cowboys and the Suicide Silences and the Whitechapels and the guys who broke it in. And then we came in, and Thy Art came in, and all those bands kind of like 2006 to 2010 or 12. And now you're having this third wave of these kids that are doing crazy stuff, super heavy, like going to all extremes, but still pulling in from the full extreme music thing. So there's whatever wave you want to call it doesn't matter. But I just think, people make such a big deal about, first wave, second generation. Like, who cares?
It's all badass.
It's all
and
great.
It's pushing the genre into a whole new level.
And here's a big misconception, so a band like Lorna Shore, they're popping right now. They're doing really cool stuff. And they came out and supported us on a headliner. And now we're going to go out and probably support them, I'm sure, sometime soon, because they've blown up and taken that big step. And we're proud to be friends and see our friends doing that kind of cool shit. But the thing is so many people try to get in the way of that. But when one band goes up, we all go up. The whole scene goes up. The whole extreme music scene picks up with it. Hardcore, metal, all of it. When a band grows like that and becomes more accessible, it gives all of us room to grow. So there shouldn't be gatekeeping. There shouldn't be any of that, stuff. I like the idea of people having traditional roots when it comes to certain things, but it doesn't have to be weird. My favorite bands are At the Gates and Steely Dan. Who cares?
Excellent.
Right, two of my favorite bands. And anybody that knows me knows that that's just kind of what I love. And I don't understand. So I don't understand how somebody can stand in the way of somebody else's success, number one. And number two, how somebody can't realize that as it grows, we all grow. So yeah, go for it. Do something new. Step outside your normal boundaries. Make the third or fourth wave or whatever it is of deathcore heavier or more melodic or whatever. Take influences from everywhere so everybody can go up. And if we're all doing that, it's more about the scene of music than just the band. I see a lot of people with their noses in the air, and I don't understand it. We all come from the same place.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. And as a side note, if you do tour with Lorna Shore again, do not skip Oregon for the love of God. I will be there down in the pit, crowd surfing. Please come.
Yeah, I'm very proud of those guys. Austin and all those guys. We're from New Jersey. We came up together. So to see them selling out their tour, almost all those dates are sold out before they even left. So it's it's really great.
Awesome.
And I really am I'm really excited to see them do well. I mean, we're doing well. Everybody's kind of moving up, and I love it. And I love to see people supporting each other, and
Exactly.
I mean, it's something that's something we can learn from the punk and the hardcore scene, I mean, you want to take something from their scene, support your local bands, take care of each other, start venues, book bands, do that whole thing. It makes everything better for everyone.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that kind of leads into my next question about, since you are talking about, continuing to explore things, you guys have a pretty impressive legacy that you've built, a lot of albums out. You've been but you've evolved over the years.
Sure.
How do you continue to experiment and find that inspiration to try new things? Because there's a lot of bands that have a legacy like yours that just continue to do what they do, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
But you guys continue to evolve and push yourselves. How do you find that motivation and that inspiration after all this time?
Okay, so it's like a relationship, right? So you meet someone, you fall in whatever love is, you're together for a while, and then if you're not constantly experiencing new things together and growing together, life gets boring, and then you don't want to do it anymore, right? A band is a relationship. Music and people, there's a relationship there. No one wants to make the same record over and over again. No one wants to watch the same TV show. You don't want to go on the same vacation. Nobody wants to repeat things. How do you keep a relationship fresh? How do you keep, a business fresh? Constantly try new things, push things, go new places, try new stuff. Music is the same thing. Nobody wants to eat the same exact meal every single day for the rest of their lives. Pizza's great, but you don't want to eat it every fucking day because then you don't want it anymore, So I think the expectations of the fans are that you make the same record quite often, but the expectations of the musician is to evolve and have the fan base evolve with the music, and hopes that the current fan base will support it. So when we make a new record, we're affected by our families, what's going on in current events, music that we're seeing around us. We're touring with bigger bands, so playing bigger stages. We're starting to learn how our music translates in bigger rooms and how to change things musically. Like, there's so many influences there, and there's never an end goal. There's only like what we're doing next. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't ever want to be like, this is what we sound like forever, because I might want to do a rock and roll record one day, and then I can't have rock. Like, there's tons of different influences in our music. Like, I don't know how to explain it, and it's maybe a little more wordy than I want it to be, but it's like, it's hard to explain to people why music has to change. And we got Will Putney in our band, and Will is an incredible human and very talented producer, engineer. He's constantly influenced by stuff. And like I said, we listen to so many different things. There's just no way we can't explore different music. I know it's a bit of a long-winded explanation, but I really feel that way. Like, how boring would life be, like, if you and your partner just ate the same meal, watched the same TV show, came home from work? Like, it gets boring. You got to spice up your life. Well, you got to spice up your music the same way. You know what I mean? So.
And it's not long-winded. It works. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah.
All right. And I don't want to keep you all day long.
That's fine.
So I just got one last question for you, and it's probably the most important question you'll ever be asked.
Here we go.
What is your favorite dinosaur?
My favorite dinosaur.
I know. This one's a toughie.
Man. Maybe Velociraptor.
Hey.
I would say super aggressive, but when you first are approached, they're like kind of curious and like, I mean, I don't know, I've never met a Velociraptor, but things that I've read, they have the traits of a lot of different kinds of species of dinosaurs in that time, like very aggressive, very dangerous, but when you look at it at first, you wouldn't think it was, the way it's been portrayed, in all of the Jurassic Park movies, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a cool.
And there's a certain level of elegance to how they're aggressive because they are so smart.
Yep, smart, compact, but super aggressive, fighting packs. Pretty interesting.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for sitting with me and joining me in this interview. And it was great talking to you.
You too.
Is there anything else you want to shout out? Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, check out our new record, Oh What the Future Holds.
People.
Out on Nuclear Blast, and it's available everywhere. You can stream it everywhere, buy it everywhere. And if you want to see what we do, come see us live. We're playing the West Coast with Lamb of God. Then we go down to Texas, and then Indonesia and Mexico. We'll see you guys very soon.
Badass.
Awesome.
Super awesome talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.